Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? It's proclaimed the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to another episode of The Spread. I'm your host, Jim Sella, in studio today with Jay Dash. We got another Steelers player profile segment for you this week. We're going to talk about the Steelers cornerbacks. The cornerbacks struggled a lot last year. I think Willie Gay was definitely the most solid of the corners. Antoine Blake and Bryce McCain stepped up when Cortez Allen finally was so terrible that he got hurt and we just took him off the roster. McCain's gone. Blake's still here. We added a couple guys in the draft. We added Senquez Golson in the second round, so hopefully that'll help Pittsburgh's pass defense. But we're going to start it off here with Kevin Fogg. Fogg's a little-known guy. He's only 5'10", 185 pounds. He's 24 years old. This is his second year in the league out of Liberty College. He signed a futures deal with Pittsburgh on January 5th, 2015. When he was at the Combine, he ran a 4.49 40 with a 33-inch vertical. He did play 48 games in college, only starting 16 of them. He's kind of a long shot to make this roster, but with all the problems that the Steelers had in the defensive backfield last year, they brought in any able bodies they could to try to compete for a position and help push these guys like Cortez Allen or like an Antoine Blake to be a little better.
Yeah, these cornerbacks aren't very deep on the Steelers roster, and they brought this guy in, and they're saying he has good instincts, good hands. He plays taller than his height. He has a high motor, so I'm thinking this guy has a shot to stick around because really they don't have much in front of him right now.
They'll probably carry 5, maybe 6 corners on the roster, depending on how new defensive coordinator Keith Butler is going to design his defense. I don't know. Fogg, he's a long shot, but he's not a no shot. You know what I mean?
Well, he's athletic. I'll give him that.
They were pretty bad last year. Another guy the Steelers got is their 4th-round pick, Dorian Grant. He's out of Ohio State. He's another shorter guy at 5'10", but he's 200 pounds. Ran a 4.44 40 with 21 bench reps, a 33-inch vertical. He's a guy, he has good break on throws. He fights for the ball in the air, good football IQ. He's not easily fooled by play-action passes. He's usually aware of his zone responsibilities. He can sniff out screen passes. He's a good tackler. He's good against the run. He doesn't have the greatest size to play outside. He struggles a little bit against bigger receivers. He has the weight and the strength, so I think that's something that he could get better at in the league, maybe not right away. He's not real smooth in his transition when turning to run with receivers, so the more agile guys, kind of like an A.J. Green, somebody that's fast and quick, they're going to be able to get around him. But if he's going to have to go up against A.B. in practice every day, I think he'll be able to learn a little bit about playing against good receivers.
The most important thing to me is the tackling. He had 146 tackles in 54 career games, including 30 starts in college. He had 9 picks, a sack, 4 tackles for a loss, and 20 pass breakups.
Yeah, and we both know the Steelers value tackling over anything, even size in the defensive backfield, because they think that if you're an athlete and you can tackle, they can teach you to play the position. So they were happy with this pick, and I'm kind of happy with this pick. 4th round, he's a guy that could become a starter. I'm hearing good things from the Steelers, from the OTAs and stuff, that he knows what he's doing already.
Yeah, I heard he's the type of player that knows how to do everything. Maybe not everything great, but he knows a little bit of everything about his position and how to play the game.
Another guy the Steelers took in the draft this year was the 2nd-round pick, Senquez Golson, the cornerback out of Mississippi. Now, Golson has been put on the physically unable to perform list as of today, along with Marquise Pouncey, Sean Lemon, Bruce Gradkowski, and I don't know, another guy, I think. I forget who it was. Golson won't be there long. He just has a little bit of a shoulder issue. He's only 5'9", though, 176 pounds. He ran a 4.46 40 with 15 bench reps and a 33-inch vertical at the Combine. He's a great competitor. He has great ball skills. He's a ball hawk. He had 9 picks and 16 pass deflections in college last year alone. He's an explosive player. He plays with good instincts. He runs well with receivers. He can close passing windows quick. He moves with the agile receivers real well. If you go deep, he can keep up with you. If you're going across the middle, he can cut with you. He's real good in man coverage. He worked primarily in zone coverage, mostly in college, which surprises me that his man skills are so good. But it's also a great surprise because if you only played in zone coverage in college and you can actually play man coverage, that means you're ahead of the game. You're working in the offseason and you're working to get better at your craft. You're not just showing up every day and doing what the coach tells you to. The biggest question mark with Golson, though, the same thing with Grant, is his size. Now, Golson is only 176 pounds. Grant's 200 pounds, so that's a big difference. I think Golson will have to put on maybe 10 pounds. You got to play around 185, 190 to be able to withstand the NFL.
Yeah, he's going to have to put on some weight, but the height, I'm telling you, I really don't care how tall my corners are, as long as they're able to tackle and stay behind the receiver.
Believe it. He doesn't let people get behind him, and he can wrap you up if you get the ball. He just has great instincts for the game. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He can break on passes. He doesn't sit and wait for the ball to get to the receiver. He tries to anticipate throws. He reads quarterbacks' eyes. The Steelers were really excited to be able to get this guy at the position they got him.
Well, after OTAs, Antonio Brown came out and had nothing but good words to say about this guy, and really thinks he's going to be one of the better corners on this team.
He'll probably slot in at nickelback right away once he gets off the PUP list. Allen and Gay most likely will be the starters at first, but that doesn't mean Golson can't take the starting job away from one of them if he performs well and their performance starts to fall off. Gay played great last year. Allen didn't play good and then went on the injury reserve, so the door's
how long
wide
did Allen
open.
Play?
I think he played 7 games.
Oh, really? That long?
I think so.
Didn't seem like it.
One of the guys that stepped up for Pittsburgh last year amongst all the injuries was Antoine Blake. He's only 5'9", 198 pounds, 24 years old. He's in his 4th year. He signed his 1-year restricted free agent tender with the team this year. He was claimed by Pittsburgh from the Jags in 2013 off the waivers. He played in all 16 games last year, started one of them. He had 42 tackles and 1 INT, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. He's more of a nickel corner. He doesn't have great size. He doesn't have great speed. He's never going to be a lockdown outside corner, but that's okay because the Steelers know that. They don't need him to be that. They need him to be that depth corner. Maybe step in a dime package. Maybe even play a little bit of a safety position. Not actually safety, but just back in that part of the field in some of these new hybrid schemes that Keith Butler is going to be running. From what I hear, Butler likes to blitz with defensive backs. Blake's a good blitzer. He can come off the corner. He can get to the quarterback fast. He knows how to avoid the block. He's going to be a great depth player for Pittsburgh. Don't look to see him come up with 5 to even 10, 10 interceptions, anything like that. Yeah. He's not going to be a Pro Bowler. I'm not saying he's God's gift to corners, but he's a really good guy to have on the roster, and I like what he brought to the team last year.
Yeah, I've said it all last season, and I'm still high on Blake. I know he's not an outside corner. He's not going to be your number 1 or number 2. But he did a great job last season as a number 3, and I'm guessing he's going to start off as their number 3 corner this season. I actually like both Blake and McCain. I thought they were good 3rd and 4th corners for the Steelers. Who would I rather had? I think McCain had a couple bigger plays. I think McCain had to pick 6. But
right.
Still, Blake looked very good, in my opinion, last season. You look, he's only 5'9". This, again, proves you don't have to be tall to succeed.
McCain was definitely the better player last year, and that's why the Dolphins signed him, because they were both restricted free agents, and the Steelers didn't match the offer. But I'm happy with keeping Blake. He's not terrible. It's not like McCain was some all-star corner either. He's going to be a good depth guy, and I just like him. He's good on special teams. He's good in the locker room. I've seen interviews with this guy. He just seems happy to be there and thankful, so he's going to work hard as opposed to some of these other guys who just think they deserve to be there.
And let's not forget, he's only 24 years old, too, so he could definitely mature into being a better player. I still agree with you that he's not going to be your number 2 corner at any point, but he definitely has room to get better as well.
Another depth guy we have is B.W. Webb. Webb is 5'11", 190 pounds, in his 3rd year out of William and Mary. He's 25 years old. The Steelers claimed this guy off waivers from Dallas in 2014. He played in 11 games last season, mostly in the slot and on special teams. He only had 2 tackles last year, so he's not a guy who gave us great production. But he knows his job on special teams. You never heard somebody go, oh, Webb got beat for a big play, or Webb got beat for a big touchdown. Sometimes if you never hear about your backups or your depth guys, if you don't hear their name, then they're doing their job because they didn't get beat. Webb will come in and compete maybe for the 3rd corner spot. I guess right away with Golson being on the PUP list, he could compete for that 3rd spot, but he's more of a guy who's going to compete for the 4th or 5th spot on the roster. And depending on how well Cortez Allen plays and who sits in at number 1 and 2 this year, Webb, I think I don't want to say it's safe to say he's on the roster, but it's going to be probably between him and Fogg as the last corner to make the team.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm looking at Webb as more of our number 5 corner in the end. I think Blake will be our number 3 at least to start off until Golson gets going or whatever. Maybe he'll overtake him, but I see Webb as more the number 5 guy, and I really don't give him a chance to overtake one of those 2 guys. But really, I could see Webb falling out of the top 5 too if Fogg does anything.
Yeah, Fogg plays well. Webb could fall off because it's not like he has great pedigree or some great rapport with the team. He only played there for 1 year. But if he moved up as high as 4, I wouldn't be disappointed. But if he cracks 1, 2, or 3, then you got some problems with injury or something going on in your defensive backfield. Not hating, just saying. Well, let's get into our 2 starting corners, or at least who everybody believes will be the starting corners. The first one, Cortez Allen. Allen has the best size out of any of our cornerbacks at 6'1", 196 pounds. He's entering his 5th year out of the Citadel. He's 26 years old. He was a 4th-round pick of Pittsburgh in 2011. He signed his 5-year deal last year before the season. He did go on the IR on December 6, 2014 with a thumb injury. He was playing poorly up into that point in the season. There was a lot of calls to get him out of the starting lineup even before the injury. He did play in 11 total games, starting 7 of them. He had 41 tackles and 2 picks. One of them was a big pick. I forget what game it was in, but it was a real nice play.
He actually had picks in back-to-back games. At Tampa Bay, he had a pick. He took back 27 yards, and then he also had a pick the next game at Jacksonville. Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's the game I was thinking of, because that game we barely won, and I think he sealed it for the defense and took the ball away from Bortles in the offense. Allen needs to bounce back this year, though. Not that they gave him some huge contract, but Pittsburgh really thought this guy was going to take a step forward last year and become one of the better corners, at least in this division, maybe if not the AFC. I didn't see it, even when he was healthy.
No.
I don't know if maybe he got too comfortable and didn't work as hard, and maybe this injury will wake him up that, hey, your roster spot is not assured to you no matter what your contract says. But I'm worried about Allen as the starter. I'm not too worried about Gay. I don't like Gay as your starter because he's always been a great nickel and then a good starter. But he's definitely the most solid on the team right now. And this defensive backfield could still become a major liability for Pittsburgh, especially in the likes of Seattle and Tom Brady and the Patriots and some Green Bay, I think we play.
Could become, I'm saying they are. I mean, you got to look at them as a liability right now. And it's really important. I know you're coming into the season saying the linebackers are going to have a huge season. They better, because if they don't, these D-backs are going to get lit up.
They will be exposed,
And
definitely.
we came into the offseason saying they had money and they had to go out and get a corner in free agency, and they didn't do it. I mean, they looked around. They really didn't even try too hard to bring in anyone. I mean, there was no chance of a Darrell Revis or anything like that. They
asked about him. When he said no, they said, okay, bye.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess they believe in Cortez Allen, but I never have, and I'm worried about it. And we're doing this, and you're going through this and going from worst to best, and you still haven't mentioned Willie Gay, so I'm really worried right now.
Yeah, when Willie Gay is your #1 cornerback, and I'm not hating on you, Willie, because you've played every single game you've ever been in the NFL. You haven't ever missed a game in your 9 years. But, man, whew.
See, Willie Gay's a perfect number 3 to me.
That's what I say. I would love it. Love it, love it if Golson somehow could step into the starting lineup.
I like Golson. It could happen in the end, but it's going to take a while. I don't see him stepping in by game 4 and being the starting corner unless there's injuries to the defensive backs.
I am optimistic about Golson and Grant, though, for the future. I think they both have the opportunity to be good corners, but right now they're so young.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say they're going to make a major impact this season. It's going to have to come down to Willie Gay and Cortez Allen. Those two are going to have to step up and be worthy starting cornerbacks. And I can't really see that happening.
Well, pick 6 Willie Gay, I mean, he set an NFL record or tied an NFL record last year with 3 pick 6s in the same season. I think he's only got 4 for his total career. Gay has all right size at 5'10", 190 pounds. He's 30 years old. Like I said, he's entering his 9th season out of Louisville. He signed a 3-year deal with Pittsburgh in 2013. His 4 career pick sixes are 10th among active players in the NFL right now. Like I said a couple minutes ago, he's never missed a game. He's played in 128 straight games. That's the longest active streak for a defensive back. He started 13 of the 16 games he played in last year. 69 tackles, the 3 picks, all 3 of them going back for a touchdown. Definitely the team's best corner last year, which was surprising because he's mostly been a slot corner for his whole career. 2 of the 3 games that he had a pick 6 in last year, the team won one by 7 points and one by 3 points. So without those big plays by Willie Gay, we might not have won those games. The 3rd game he had a pick 6 in was against Indy. We beat the crap out of them 51-34, but it was still fun to see.
Please believe. But let's face it, 3 pick 6s in a season, you cannot count on that ever. I mean, you can't even... Who's the best corner in football right now? Darrelle Revis? You can't come out and say... He's going to take 3 pick 6s back. I mean, he's not Deion Sanders, you know what I'm saying? So,
Deion.
I'm worried about this defense, and it all comes down to the linebackers to me. I know we're talking corners right now, but if the linebackers don't get pressure, they need more pressure than they did last season. Although I wasn't too unhappy with how James Harrison played and whatnot, but they need more pressure this season because this defense is not going to lead the league again in touchdowns.
Do you buy Mike Mitchell's groin injury? I read yesterday that it started in training camp and he didn't tell the team about it, and that's why it got so bad.
I mean, I guess it's true that he was injured all season last year, and that's why his production was down from when he played in Carolina. But you know what? I don't give a crap. Go out and produce, and until you do, I'm not going to like you.
If you're a liability, tell the team. I mean, if you're hurting the team, you got to say, hey, man, I'm hurt.
I thought I heard Mike Tomlin say he knew.
He probably did. I don't know.
They just didn't want to come out and say anything because then other teams,
exposed, which is illegal in the NFL. You're not allowed to hide injuries.
Yeah, understandable. But if you're not even probable, if you're definitely going to play, you don't really have to hide the injury, right?
It's still supposed to be listed on the injury report.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't get listed.
You better believe it.
You can't say, oh, my wrist hurts right now, so I'm probable or whatever.
My throat hurts from talking for the last 20 minutes. Can I get on the injury list? Am I probable for next week's episode?
You're doubtful.
But yeah, I don't know. The linebackers and the D-line are the best part of the defense right now, especially with Hayward to it, and I'm not huge on McClendon, but he's solid.
Well, I'm going to say the D-line is, and I know you're high on the linebackers this year. I don't see it like you do.
Well, they haven't done it yet, so I get why other people don't share the same opinion as me. I just have an inkling that they're really going to get back to the way.
It's all up to Jarvis Jones, though, man. Jarvis Jones has to be good then.
See, I think
unless James Harrison comes out and is a beast.
First of all, I want to say real quick that I heard yesterday or 2 days ago that Arthur Moats is penciled in as number 1, crossed from Jarvis Jones, and not Bud Dupree right now. So Bud Dupree is not projected to be the starter as of right now.
Bud Dupree came out and said he is going to make an impact this season.
All those things could change because training camp just started yesterday. But I think Dupree is going to have a better season than Jones. I could see.
I do too, but I don't
being the odd
think
man out after the season.
I just don't see Bud Dupree. If let's say he is a beast, I don't see that as enough from the linebacking core with the corners they have. They need it from both ends.
Oh well, you're going to get it. Shazier will be better because hopefully he'll be healthier. We always know Timmons is good. So if you can hit on one of the 2 outside linebackers, but if you hit on both of the outside linebackers, that's when they get into beast mode, and that's when you're going to see them rack up 50 sacks.
But they have to both be good, in my opinion, because these D-backs are just not good. And, I mean, we're going to go over safeties eventually, too, and that doesn't look any better than these corners, I tell you that.
Shamarko.
So, I'm telling you, even if Bud Dupree's a beast, we know Timmons will be good. Let's say Shazier is at least better than he has been. Jarvis Jones is still going to have to be good, or these D-backs are going to get exposed still. Because Bud Dupree's not going to come up with 30 sacks for you.
I thought Shazier played fine, if not good, in his playing time last year.
Yeah, but you have to expect him to get better. I mean, you have need him to get better.
Moving forward. I mean, you're going to get to year 4 or 5. You always get better in the NFL. I'm not saying that you don't. But when you hit year 4, maybe 5, that's kind of when your plateau is what you're going to be able to do as an NFL player. You got to get better in those first couple years, and he's got to stay healthy, and he's got to do it for a whole season before anybody can say they have the confidence in him to do it. I just have this feeling.
Unfortunately, these D-backs got to stay healthy too.
Yeah, because if Gay or Allen or both somehow go down.
I mean, if they go down for a couple games, Blake has filled in as the number 2 corner. And, I mean, he's got burnt, but so has Willie Gay. I mean, yeah, he came up with those 3 pick-sixes, but he also got burnt for huge plays last season. And that's something this team's going to have to deal with. The one way to help that out a little bit, though, is get those linebackers having more of a pass rush.
As long as Sammy Coates isn't going against Golson in a game, we're okay.
Yeah.
Stupid highlights. Hey, let's draft a corner and show the 3rd-round wide receiver that we're about to take. Burn him for a touchdown. But that's it. That's all we got for you today, fans, for the corners. Hopefully the Steelers cornerbacks can get better. Hopefully Cortez Allen will be better off this injury and Willie Gay can play to that same level as last year. No, he won't have 3 pick-sixes, but even without the 3 pick-sixes, if he could play solid, that would be okay. Fans, you can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. You can follow me on Twitter at betjimthewin. Any Steelers questions or comments you have for us, you can hit us up there. Check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/betthespread. Check out our website at thespreadnews.simplesite.com. Go to our YouTube page, click like, click subscribe, click on anything positive. Send us some comments. It doesn't matter. Do it all.